Good evening and welcome to the SPL desk here in Alpharetta, Georgia. My name is Fdot and I'm joined here by my man's Adanas, and we've got two matches for you today, one European, one North American.
As the split proceeds, we're seeing a little bit more games, and now we've got two matches on Monday Night Spite. I'm actually pretty excited about this. This is actually going to be the conclusion to the first half of the split. Let's take a look at the games we're going to be seeing today. First off, FNATIC taking on Torpedo.
This is a big statement match for FNATIC, in my opinion. They've struggled along the way, but a lot of commentators and fans alike have given them the benefit of the doubt because of the storied history that the team and most of the roster has had. But if we don't see a win out of FNATIC here against Torpedo, I think you got to start leaving that behind and start focusing on the present.
I mean, it's still Realzx, Zyrhoes, and maniaKK. How do you count them out? But you can see right here, looking at the standings, 3 and 11. They're sitting at the bottom. We thought this was going to be almost a guaranteed top 3 team, or at least a guaranteed top 4 team, and likely to be the 3rd team heading to DreamHack, but it hasn't appeared that way. Cringe Crew making their way up. Currently, they're in that DreamHack spot.
You know, there's a lot of teams on here that you can look at and go, you know, I predicted otherwise, but I understand.
Yes.
Cringe Crew, Dignitas, most notably. And you'll take a look at FNATIC, and I don't think anybody in the world predicted that FNATIC would be number 8 here at our halfway mark.
Especially not FNATIC.
No.
I mean, this was supposed to be kind of them emerging as a top 2 powerhouse. This was going to be the roster that they were going to take to be able to match up against Panthera.
Right.
Now, obviously, they knew it wouldn't happen in week 1. Maybe not week 2, but week 3, week 4, you would think that they would start to get the ball rolling, but it hasn't happened. Jifffy has not been the man that they had hoped he would be come SPL, at least SPL game time.
I mean, on the other side of the coin, this is the halfway point, which means teams have a minute or two to sort of not relax, but go even harder, but this time in the classroom instead of on the field. Take a look at their VODs. You've got a breadth of different types of games, strategies, and opponents to take a look at. So FNATIC might want to opt for that, and Randozzo's might want to do the same. Randozzo's versus Luminosity will be our North American match of the day, and Randozzo's struggling as well, whereas Luminosity have seen success, but maybe not the same success that a lot of people had anticipated.
They're struggling to kind of close out matches, right? They get solid wins, right? Even against ALG, the first game, like a 20-minute stomp, like it was one-sided. Game 2, complete opposite way. Not complete opposite, right? It wasn't a stomp by ALG, but they looked much better, and Luminosity really starting to falter. And I said this pinning on a power for quite some time, but I think heading into week 5, we're starting to see a distancing. And honestly, Enemy, Soar, and Eager, teams that many players didn't even have going to DreamHack, are starting to look like the best 3 in North America and kind of split themselves away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, there's been a lot of struggles for some of the teams that people would have expected to be on number 1, and quite a different story turning it around. So North America should be interesting as we get into it a little bit later. But as we said, we'll start off with Europe. FNATIC versus Torpedo is the match we're going to take a look at first, and FNATIC, we'll see if they have first pick or not. Heading into the game right here, Torpedo will be your first pick, so they also have first ban. We'll take a look at where people decide to put their cookies.
So something to note here is that actually last week in week 4, these teams faced off. Now, for those who don't know about kind of how this split works, every team will play each other team in their league twice in best of 2 sets. And this is the first time that we're seeing a team repeat the same kind of matchup. Now, it went a split last time, but game 1, FNATIC looked very clean.
Yes.
They're like, okay, FNATIC, they're starting to get the ball rolling, but then game 2, everything fell apart again, and it went Torpedo's way.
Torpedo will ban out the globals of Giannis and Athena. Interesting, without the ban onto Naja, I want to see if FNATIC pick it up in their first 2 picks. Torpedo, of course, do have that option. NinjaBobat can play Naja very well, and the reason I bring him up is because Jifffy hasn't really shown up on any god except for Naja.
So I'm actually really surprised here that FNATIC didn't ban Apollo. The last time these teams faced off, we saw it banned in the first phase both times to keep it away as a flex pick, because Torpedo not only will run it in that Hunter role onto Moex, but also Gamehunter, playing this very awkward, but I mean somehow works, Urchin Apollo, where he's like kind of a secondary initiator with his blink as well. And I think FNATIC were trying to bait that.
Maybe a little bit. We do see the Naja, so Jifffy will be nice and comfortable. And yeah, like you said, the Gamehunter Apollo is very interesting. It almost, now bear with me here, it almost works like a more offensive Sun Wukong. You see Gamehunter dashing through team fights, knocking people up, getting the slowdown, mezzing everybody, finding a way out. He's able to provide the front line that Apollo does, or the back line that Apollo does, but also winds up being a little bit more tanky so he can insert himself in those situations.
And something that people forget about, too, is the mez on Apollo provides him with physical protections. I think it's 50 at max. It's actually, it's pretty crazy, to be honest, for a Hunter. Torpedo, they're going to be locking in Hou Yi as well, guaranteeing basically that Apollo will be in that solo lane on Gamehunter. FNATIC looking to respond here. They're up against a Thor as well, so the double globals. I feel like they need to ban away Athena, at least in the second phase.
Well, it's taken off in the first one. Torpedo always a little bit wary of those globals. FNATIC at the last pick in their first half, and it'll be Scylla. So the Naja-Scylla combination really brought to the forefront by Hungry for More. As simple as it is, they were the ones that brought it into the SPL.
No, I really think, I actually think it was Cringe Crew, because I believe even in the fall split,
you're right, yeah.
they ran that same thing when they were known as London Conspiracy. They were the only ones running the Naja-Scylla combo. And since then, both of these gods have been buffed. Now, Scylla directly buffed.
Sure.
But also Naja indirectly buffed with the Realzx system, meaning you're not having beads every 90 seconds. Now it's purification every 160. Much easier to guarantee it.
Yeah, we've seen Naja sort of rise to prominence with like, first it was Magi's blessing that had to go, and then he was sort of played but not really. Then it was 90-second beads, and now he's played a lot. So you can sort of see the natural transition into the Naja. Second bans are out. No Guan Yu or Bellona, so solo lane targeted for Torpedo, whereas FNATIC spreads it out, and they don't want to see that early game lane pressure in mid because of the Chronos pick they wanted, and the Geb will also be taken off the table to protect Torpedo's lineup.
Reels on this Chronos. We haven't seen too much of this. He's actually gone more the route of traditional hunters, right? You look at kind of the Shaggy Shanks and the, I would say, fun ballers in Europe. They're the ones running a lot of Chronos, a lot of Soul, kind of these new meta mages, whereas, you know, FNATIC, it's Reels, right? He's sticking with the hunters. His bread and butter, he's been known for it forever, and he's very good at hitting auto attacks.
Well, the one thing that Reels has to do, he's been the one constant for FNATIC. His style of play is generally show up at the team fights, maybe a hair late, and then do all the damage and clean up. Exactly, he's the carry. The Chronos, on the other hand, he'll be able to drive that team fight a little more with the stun of time stop. So maybe you want to transition a little bit more into that as the Sobek Soul lane is selected.
And Vamana going to be last picked here on maniaKK, who has made his return. Something to note: the last time these teams played in Split, it was Mr. Crunchy subbing in, so wasn't the full roster. You know, maniaKK, a world-class player, has been to both world events, also been to almost every single Smite LAN in existence since the start here. And this is a matchup that Vamana does kind of get pressured out early, although once he gets his abilities kind of maxed out, it's much easier for him, but does have to worry about Torpedo because they also have the Thor.
They also have the Hou Yi that Moex will be playing, and right away, first thing, before we even talk about Zyrhoes' purple pot on the Scylla, well, Gamehunter gets a basic on a BigManTingz.
First hit, game over. You know the curse.
You know what item I'm going to request?
First auto equals win.
I'm going to request some sort of runic shield, Witchblade, just please. You've got 3 basic attack characters. Soul is gameplay dependent, I suppose. But
it's basic. I mean, late game, like early and mid, she's definitely basic attack. Late game, it's like Stellar Burst, there's half your life.
Poly hit, there's the other half.
Supernova, there's the overkill.
So yeah, I mean, it's Torpedo have a very good lineup on the surface, and even a little bit deeper, but they do have to be wary of basic attack speed slow. Debuffs on the other side.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think we're definitely going to need to see some Midgardian Mails, Witchblades, Frostbound Hammers coming out there sometime soon.
We see it. We see you guys out there. But on a serious note, there's a reason to ask for it. We have Watcher's Gift for both of the starters and Boots 1. Very curious to see if Bacchus will go the aggressive route or the Talaria Boots, both of which have been effective and popular here. And it will be the solo Apollo.
That's one of the things I like, especially support builds this season, is that there's been such a variety, right? You can counter build. Obviously, it gets a little bit rough. Your first item always has to be like, okay, their team has a burst comp. I need to make sure I have an item to survive, whether it be physical or magical. But after that, you can build into a variety of different things. Early aggression onto Korinyo, still level 1, rooted out. He could be in a lot of trouble here, but no final hit coming out from him. But that does allow pressure coming out for FNATIC.
No way mid-Harpies can be contested now with Torpedo poked as low as they are. And that purple pot from Zyrhoes really showing the business. I mean, the purple pot plus a soul stone, you're doing so much damage with those crushes, and even the Sikkim you saw was able to really hurt Korinyo.
I like that rotation coming out from the dual lane of Torpedo as well. You saw Sobek and Hou-Yi pressure out the Chronos Bacchus, walk over. Now, nothing came of it, but it was still, the opportunity might have been there for first blood, but still, FNATIC, they're going to be invading the back Harpies as well. So this pressure has paid dividends for them already.
Yeah, it's just a ripple effect of what they were able to do to Korinyo. He's still half HP, and you take a look at the mid laner, he doesn't have much of in the way of health regeneration. So no pots online or not. Korinyo not able to do it. Jifffy stuck in some trouble.
Here.
No bounce. There's a good sash, but it won't be enough. Bobat gets the first blood, and Korinyo follows up. Double kill to start the game. Just a minute and a half in. Korinyo and his jungler take out 2.
That's Gamehunter right there. Notices that his team is going to contest those back Harpies. He cuts off their path directly, and then it's just a 3v1 on Jifffy, who was caught out on his side. You saw Zyrhoes try and take a safe path through the Fire Giant. He splits off with Jifffy. If they're together, maybe that goes differently, but unfortunately for them, they split up, and the bad thing is that it wasn't just first blood, it was that it was 2 kills.
Gamehunter low. Not going to be the first kill for FNATIC. maniaKK unable to reach it. Even if he, yeah.
Gamehunter, no teleport here, so going to get pressured off of his lane. Not going to have an easy way back in, so he'll be taking a trip in. This is going to allow maniaKK to kind of recoup a little bit of the farm he lost after dying here. Thankfully for him, he didn't get first blooded.
Yeah, not even level 5 on the Apollo. I've never been the number 1 proponent of using your Apollo ult to get back to lane, but in the solo lane when each wave is so important, especially with the change to mana, might be an option.
NinjaBobat looking for a gank, it seems, in the dual lane, but Torpedo have the pressure, so no one from FNATIC going to be pressuring too much. And he's by himself, right? So didn't want to risk it. Actually cancels his back. His red pot is still ticking for a little bit here, and then he's just going to go for some farm, so trying to stay efficient.
Yeah, I like that. He just noticed the time on his buff, and he's going to keep it rolling for now. And perhaps Sobek might be able to make something happen. You see Murrdurr here. Well, BigManTingz going to jump on in. There's a stun from the Thor to protect, but Jifffy follows the Sobek. Great catch, and the follow-up from Zyrhoes. There it is. 1 kill for FNATIC, but the follow-up, will Thor land aggressively?
No.
Doesn't look like it.
You saw the double globals coming out from Torpedo, both Apollo and Thor. Actually, some more aggression. Looking for NinjaBobat. Rotation has come in from maniaKK, but a beautiful wall by Bobat will stop it, and Gamehunter will be fine, but he might lose his buff here. You can see FNATIC, they're grouping up and pressuring it.
Now, the last time FNATIC wound up in Torpedo's jungle, it was first blood and a follow-up kill.
A little bit different now.
Exactly. The difference is FNATIC had a little bit of pressure, which allowed them to look towards mid-camps, but a good rotation stopped them that time around. FNATIC had lots of pressure. They had taken a player off the map, and there just wasn't that possibility of the rotation with the mid laner back at base.
Bobat and Gamehunter also ults down, don't want to fight into that one, and that was the bread and butter, right? The Naja Scylla, we've seen it for a while, and when it connects, even someone as tanky as Murrdurr is going to die to it. So quick kill on him. Now he hasn't got a protection item just yet, but still.
Yeah, there's base protections of Guardians, but this is where the supports are their most vulnerable, and it's been this way for a long time, where Watcher's Gift gives you passive HP 5 or whatnot, and Talario boots as well. There's no items built just yet to make you tanky, so you're very liable to just be caught out. Jiffy's going to look towards Thor, but Zyrhoes is enough.
No hammer as well. I like that poke from Jifffy, right? Knows that there's nothing that Korinyo and Bobat can respond with. Why not get off the free poke? The hammer's down, the ult's down. Korinyo had just used Stellar Burst. So find a small win. NinjaBobat still hanging around these mid camps. I don't think he knows what the timer is. FNATIC have been controlling it.
Yeah, it's a long time on those mids. FNATIC will finally dip into their own jungle for a change and get some back Harpies and Gamehunter in this long lane. Traditional build so far, throwing dagger into the warrior Tabi, so nothing too janky just yet, but definitely look out for a more tanky build than you're used to. maniaKK gets crit, maniaKK gets hit, and one more basic from the Hunter. And maniaKK surprised by the damage Apollo's able to put out.
Yeah, let's watch that back. We have an instant replay here for you. A big crit coming out from Gamehunter, and he misses one auto, but he still finds the snipe on the back line, and maniaKK, I don't think he had enough health there, or mana, excuse me, to ult.
Yeah, didn't have enough mana to ult. You can see how low the blue bar is. And then that just the last basic coming out. And Gamehunter, that's the difference of hitting all your basics and missing some, right? Like, that's just the deal. So, Very, very crazy stuff. With all the basics he hit, he had a 1.5 chance percent to crit, and he actually nailed it. Bobat's going to go in mid.
He connects onto one. There's Purification come out. Soult as well. Connects onto Jifffy, and Jifffy actually thrown back into the lane. His ultimate, is it up? No, it was actually used, and Murrdurr finishes him off.
Yeah, Jifffy tried to ult Murrdurr, but Murrdurr had seen that before. Goes right into lurking in the waters, immunes it.
I thought I heard it. I didn't see it happen right there.
Yeah, and the reason was because there was just so many people.
That soul ultimate was perfect placement from Korinyo, right? He lines it up to hit, not Jifffy. He's actually looking for Zyrhoes, and I believe he connected. But Jifffy is forced to actually sit on the front end of the tower. He gets knocked back just a little, and then Murrdurr pushes him even further back in. And then, like you said, the ultimate, it whiffs on the CC immune Croc, and then that's the end of Jifffy.
Yeah. Just very well played, specifically by Murrdurr. Like, obviously, Torpedo came up in there, but without that Sobek, without that lurking in the water, to zone out the rest of FNATIC. So big play by Murrdurr over there. The support, 1-1 and 0 so far.
Korinyo, almost dead there. Had Purification, but would have been forced to use it. Unfortunately, FNATIC actually just whiff every ability. Crush, Sick'em, and Artillery Sash. Just none of them connect. If one of them connects, he gets slowed down or locked in place and rooted.
Torpedo want to bait FNATIC into going deeper than they should.
MoeX
a little bit too smart. MoeX on a rotation will jump over the wall, but half HP done. Good poke by Jifffy and Tings.
I'm not sure if Torpedo were trying to bait that or not, but MoeX kind of just caught by himself, forced to purify. This also has allowed Realzx to kind of get some solo farm. He's even in gold though, so MoeX has been keeping up in farm.
Well, that rotation from MoeX was a lot of fun because Torpedo called it. When you saw mid lane hanging out on the right side of the lane, they were waiting for FNATIC to come up and trying to get some tower damage. If FNATIC had gone in, you would have had two sides of the lane come in. Both of the exits would have been cut off, one by MoeX, one from the duo of Korinyo and Murrdurr. So excellent positioning, just trying to start that fight, but FNATIC doesn't get over aggressive.
So let's talk a little bit about Realzx, right? He's been the staple member of the squad, even in their losses. FNATIC right now 3-11. Realzx actually not only has the most kills on his team, but also the fewest deaths. He's actually has the fewest deaths of any hunters in the SPL outside of MoeX, Barracuda, and Shaggy. And Shaggy, Shank, and Barracuda have been known to play pretty safe. MoeX maybe not so much, but I mean, with 11 losses, the fact that he's still remained this relevant is just kind of a tale of Realzx, right? He has been one of, if not the best hunter in Europe forever.
And part of that is because of his low deaths, and that's attributed to his superior positioning and his ability to find the right spot in the fight. Every single time you watch FNATIC team fight, look at Realzx specifically, there's always this circle, this radius of team fight damage, and he just sits
right on the edge.
Right on the edge. And he might get hit, but he's definitely going to hit the opponent, and he won't get hit too much that he's absolutely inescapable. Realzx, that's one of his better skill sets overall as a hunter player, is his ability to find those nooks and crannies and crevices during the team fights and avoid damage.
You know, and he's on this Chronos, which, like I said, doesn't really feel like a Realzx god.
No.
Gonna juke this gank in the meantime as NinjaBobat came crashing down. I think he smelled something out. His team had rotated and I think noticed the ward coverage as well.
Yeah, as a sentry ward on Gold Fury for Torpedo.
I think what happened is Bobat kind of walked over that bottom side one. You see the FNATIC ward there? That's actually one of the best placements of wards around the Gold Fury if you can't gain control of it, right? If you don't have a sentry in your inventory, go on the top or bottom side of it because no one really ever sentries there, and any sentry on the Gold Fury doesn't reach those points.
Yeah, and it'll show you multiple rotations, called the Crossroads sometimes.
The Crossroads. By you?
Yeah.
There's like a million. What do you call the mid camps? I feel like those are the four corners, right?
Yeah. That's where we usually see right here. Torpedo have the two wards up and top. The top one just fell. BigManTingz going to be forced to fall over here. We'll see if he falls for real as far as death is concerned. With a lot of damage on Murrdurr. Monster's going to miss, but here's the rotation of Gamehunter. That's going to be a game changer. Jifffy picks up one, but quickly take it out with the solo rotation. And here's Realzx with the long lane. Is he able to make it count?
He rotated in, and now you actually see Scylla surging forward. maniaKK trying to close the gap. Sick'em's not going to connect to Crush either. Over the wall, though. Time stop, time rift. No. Knocked away by Murrdurr. Great heads-up play coming out from him.
I would have loved to see the target switch onto Korinyo. Korinyo was closer to the backside. The soul was vulnerable. Even with ethereal form up, I think that FNATIC could have made that swap
It really feels like they should have gotten more out of that fight.
Yeah.
Obviously, walk away with a kill, but in the meantime, I mean, they also had a man advantage with Realz's rotation. Unfortunately, can't chase and lock down the kills they need. A lot of that, too. Torpedo form, right?
Yep.
The mobility, honestly, from Torpedo, they're not easy gods to lock down in any manner, right?
Yeah.
Apollo obviously has a million abilities to get out, right? Mez, dash, ultimate. Meantime, though, Torpedo, they're going to actually be starting this up, but they are on that ward on the bottom side.
There's the Hoyi ultimate. Doesn't matter if FNATIC know. They can't do anything about it. Quickly killed, just like Bobat. BigManTingz with credit on that. The big man on the big man. 1-0-2 with the power boots.
Torpedo's going to take that win as well. More than likely going to lose this tower here. They're 5 members grouped. No one on Torpedo really in position to contest it. And I love this from teams, right? Even if you don't get the Gold Fury, you can pressure this tier 1 mid because a lot of times the players on the opposing side have burned a lot of ultimates or have been poked out by the Gold Fury, so it's much harder for them to take a team fight right afterwards.
Especially if you're able to not just pick somebody up, pick up a large, but especially if you're able to pick somebody
someone
up
off, just like Bobat, yep.
So with Bobat spilling there, the mid tower comes a little bit easier. Chronos a little bit behind here. He was down 500 and just recently in that last exchange wound up picking it up, and now he's only behind 100. So, but take a look at that Hoyi build, Kevin. I want your take on rush chins.
Chins very early. So this is what I know about MoX. He's a very good player.
Yep.
Sometimes he doesn't think about the game. And I'm serious, right? This man has been playing Smite for 3 years.
You gonna bring up the Agni?
I am. And like 6 months ago, he just learned that Agni, his abilities are like, they like come online every 20. I think that was it, right? He didn't know that Agni has 3 bombs and that they come online every second. He thought when the ultimate's up, he has 3, and then that's it. Like, the dude has been playing. He was playing in the SPL and didn't know that.
And that's the thing. He's played well in the SPL. He hasn't been this terrible player. You know, he's been able to perform despite some of that. But so yeah. I mean,
he just gets. This is the guy. Like, it's not even like not thinking or anything. He just gets on and he plays. That's all MoX does. And he's still able to compete at the highest levels. Funny enough, though, last year we used to see a lot of aggression coming out of him. Not so much this season. He's been kind of a toned back MoX.
Well, I mean, the chin size build just tells you that he doesn't want to jump in and start doing damage with his abilities. He wants to sort of do what Realz does, sit on the outskirts and try to find those basics. BigManTingz now, slowed and stunned. Murrdurr's going to be right in the middle of him. Knock up and dash away for safety as 4 members of FNATIC are here. Big rotation and response coming out from the gold and black, so nothing that Torpedo can find.
So actually going back, though, to the chin size and why they were picked up, obviously doing a little bit more damage than, say, an Ickfile or an Aussie. But the thing is, those items are actually cheaper, and it's all about power corps. MoX, though, in a little bit of trouble. Pop Sprint should be fine here unless Realz can hit every single auto attack. And looking for the time rift. Oh, Realz wants this. Can't find it.
Unable to find it. I got to say, I'm liking Realz on this Chronos, even with a defensive build as he has with the helm and the winged blade. But up in the sky goes one. And Naja's going to come right on down into Zyrhoes. There's the combo again. Mid lane with 2 of those kills. And Murrdurr going to get murdered. Jifffy on the good side of that one. 2, 3, and 3 for the jungle.
FNATIC really starting to come online here. Even up the kills with those 2. 5-5. Gold as well. Dead even at this point, right? A difference of 12 on the graphs right at this second. And that's with Torpedo having a Gold Fury and First Blood included. FNATIC have simply been farming better and finding the invades they need.
And it makes sense to me as well as FNATIC pick up their second tier 1 tower of the game. This is where Chronos is actually going to start doing damage. The Hoyi does more damage earlier than the Chronos. And the same thing with Scylla. Just as it gets later and later, she's going to start crushing those crushes.
Korinyo. I don't see how he gets out of this one. Torpedo form. It's only going to be a couple seconds. Gamehunter actually comes crashing down in the middle. maniaKK takes out Korinyo, though, and FNATIC once again going to walk away with a kill uncontested.
Sitting in the jungle, going for the red buff.
They want to fight, though. It really seems like they want to fight.
Ooh, Ricochet going to hit Jifffy for a little bit. Torpedo, they're definitely giving off the vibe that they want to go in, but FNATIC, after that Zero poke, I feel a little bit less comfortable about it, but I felt like FNATIC would be more than happy to fight.
I mean, Murrdurr deep in the jungle right now, 1 versus 3. And a lot of this is just to stagger FNATIC's backs. You can see 4 members grouped up. They want to push this tier 1. Unfortunately for them, though, FNATIC's going to be able to respond in time. Already have 2 under the tower, 2 coming off of base. They don't want to risk pushing that.
NinjaBobat and Murrdurr going to go ahead and secure some farm of their own in the in the jungle rather. And you know, going back to this Chin Sai, This Chinsai purchase is sort of like an early game Ratatouille, where like Ratatouille and Chinsai, they're both good items, right? But you need items to supplement them for them to
You
actually
need
do
more
the job.
attack speed to make chins actually worth the gold. If you just
Right.
buy them flat, it's not really worth it unless you're like, say, a warrior, right? And you just like, that's going to be the best like one-for-one item for you.
Exactly. With that in mind, each attack speed item that you purchase will make the Chinsai better throughout the game, right? Because you're just dealing more and more of that. So it's an interesting approach. You're sort of like getting
And I think maybe if you're Apollo, you can make it worth it because of an Audacity passive.
Yeah.
But on this Hou-Yi, I mean, you don't really have a single ability that increases your attack speed, so not really worth.
Yeah,
I would have
I'd
rather seen like kind of a like I said earlier, a power curve where you go into the Ick file, Aussie, and then Chins, or maybe only one of them and then into it. But
instead of a ramp up, you'll see a staircase essentially for
Yeah.
the hunter. So taking the hard part first. At the end of the day, if you back with 1,000,000 gold, sometimes you just look at that item and you're like, you know
just
what?
like I could buy Deathbringer here, man. I kind of want to buy Deathbringer.
Gold Series started by FNATIC out of nowhere. Murrdurr, excuse me, looking forward, and the stun not going to hit. That was one dead alligator. If Jifffy
Gamehunter
hit.
in the sky, and still 4 members group. I love this from FNATIC. They're just going to reset. That's 2 ultimates they don't have to deal with now. And if they want to start up the Gold Fury again, they should. Bobat, ultimate down as well. Jumping from BigManTingz, but he's immune to knockups in the middle of Berserker's Barrage, so they're not going to find a pick on him. And now, I mean, 3 ultimates down. This is the moment for FNATIC to try and force this, but they're dropping it. They're backing off. They're playing very safe.
Well, FNATIC, they're gonna shy away from it at the moment, just looking to mid lane, see if they can shake Torpedo.
I mean, the 3 scare. I mean, obviously you still have Korinyo with Supernova and the Sun's coming out of Hou-Yi, but they're actually going to try and pick off Moex here. Sprint going to help him avoid, but he has no tier 1 tower to find safety.
And there's the stun. It's going to be purified, so no kill. Jifffy doesn't want to use his ultimate here, really trying to avoid that. And they will find the kill on Moex. Either way, as maniaKK comes and dives the tower, that big baby form taking a lot of damage. Jifffy will go to the sky. Zyrhoes lying in wait. Hits him, doesn't even need the help from the mid laners. Jifffy picks up one himself. Sanctuary helps Gamehunter avoid Zyrhoes' damage. And FNATIC, they wind up 2 kills to none in that engagement. Not able to find a tower as Torpedo poked them down.
3 players poked out, though, so they're going to have to back. I love the decision from FNATIC. Even with the ultimates down, what they were trying to do was sneak the Gold Fury. They didn't want to force the fight. Oh, Gamehunter, okay.
With that
man.
Blink Apollo.
He tried to catch someone. My head was turned. I'm not sure who, but they made it to safety, thankfully for them, because he was ready. But they bait it. They get a couple ultimates, and then instead of trying to force it right there, they want to get a pick. So they look for Hou-Yi because his ultimate was still online. They do find it under tower. maniaKK, though, in a little bit of trouble. And Torpedo honestly kind of baited themselves in that engagement. They walled off maniaKK, trying to finish him off. Unfortunately, they couldn't find the damage to do it. And then because of that, Jifffy blinks in. He finds the point-blank ult on Bobat, and then the wombo combo's there.
And you know, it just comes to me now, as you mentioned that the target was maniaKK. That's why I think we see the early Chinsai on Hou-Yi.
It's possible.
Specifically looking at the high health, as you see a couple of health items on Vamana. They're looking to take out that Vamana, because Torpedo know that FNATIC's game plan is to, BigManTingz can go ahead and jump in, and then maniaKK just starts river dancing on everybody, right?
I absolutely love this build coming out from maniaKK. This is exactly what we need to see when you have this kind of triple auto attack lineup. It's the Breastplate of Valor, right? Physical defense cooldown, that's very good on to the baby, but then Midgardian Mail right after that. And now he's building into Hide of the Nemenian Lion as well. It's pure anti-auto attack.
80%, 80 physical protections as well. FNATIC starting the Gold Fury. 50% down already. Korinyo pops the heat. And that's going to be enough to make FNATIC turn off. But Murrdurr caught out one more time. Stun into bump. Miscommunication there, but it don't matter. Murrdurr, take it out very quick.
Realzx also pops his ultimate. A little bit scared of the burst coming out from Torpedo. He got hit by that wall, and it was actually over the Suns as well. And now Jifffy on zone duty. He's going to force Moex back, and this looks like a Gold Fury that's going to go uncontested. Torpedo wants none of it, but in the meantime, they're actually going to have Gamehunter split push, so they're looking for a tier 1 tower as well, and that was the point of Torpedo there in the mid lane, actually not allowing maniaKK to rotate over.
Yeah, tier 1 tower for Gold Fury, no problem. Tier 2, quite a different story. So maniaKK going to show up and clear the wave and chase Gamehunter back into his way out. And he's going to be forced into the ult.
And a lot of that, too, you can see the rotation coming out from Zyrhoes and Jifffy as well. Doesn't want to risk that. And he's just going to come crashing down, get his blue buff. But FNATIC, they were waiting for him. Not going to find it. Good stun coming out from Bobat.
that Blink Apollo, man, you know, it just goes hand in hand with the build we were talking about and sort of how Gamehunter is going to play as much Apollo as he's going to do Disruptor. And that's why the Chinsai allow it. Chinsai is an item that can be built without any power backing it. You don't need like a Transcendence or a big bunch of power.
It's all about attack speed.
Exactly. So Audacity, like you mentioned before, that'll naturally help that out.
That makes it worth buying the Chinsai first. Also, he kind of just wants a power spike then and there. I mean, obviously he could have gone into Ickfile as well against Maniac, but he's trying to do damage to Zyrhoes and Realzx as well, so he's not going to get the full benefit off of it.
And he wants to build into that Urchin. That's what he wants to do. So you get this sort of hybrid, like I said. Apollo's not going to be the frontliner here, but don't be surprised to see a Blink Mez initiate from Apollo and then dash out, slow everybody, and Torpedo capitalize off
And he's going the split push build as well. You can see him working on a Titan's Bane already, so wants to do a little bit more penetration to the towers. And he's already taken the tier 1 on the right. He was pressuring the tier 2 as well. So far, though, it's been actually FNATIC to clear out all these tier 1 towers. They've been doing a really good job of grouping, and FNATIC's look much cleaner. Jifffy looking pretty confident. Like I said, Jifffy in the past 2 weeks has looked drastically different than Jifffy in the first week, but so far it hasn't been enough as a unit for FNATIC to kind of find the wins they need to make a relevant run to DreamHack.
And where do you think that comes from? Because as you said, Jifffy has definitely stepped up to the plate. There's the ultimate on Zyrhoes. He just heard the Jifffy ult, but the Sanctuary comes out. Crush takes the kill anyway. Zyrhoes, one more, 3 kills in total.
He actually timed it really well onto Bobat as well. Obviously, Sanctuary going to keep Bobat from taking that damage, but the rest was there, the follow-up, and now FNATIC, they're going to be 5-man grouping again. They're not too worried about these 2 hunters on the sideline split pushing. They just want to get a tower.
Yeah, I mean, the split push, it's sort of like that's going to happen. How can we capitalize off of dealing with that? And so they're just looking at the tier 2, knowing that, all right, Apollo, Hou-Yi, if you guys are just going to split push, we'll just group up and find a tower.
So I think they're actually conceding the right lane. No, Maniac has backed. He may not be able to make it in time, though, and the team was looking for MoX, but MoX drops his ult for the farm, backs off. Torpedo, don't get a tower, though, off of that, and FNATIC do. Tier 2. Now they're up about 4,500.
Yeah, and 22 and a half, 10 kills over 5. FNATIC they struggled in the beginning, actually. They gave up that first blood, and it just looked kind of really sloppy.
It really did.
I think FNATIC took that. They didn't pause the game, but I think they took a pause real quick, and they were like, all right, that can't happen again, guys. Okay? And then they just continued on.
Not again.
We see what happened.
I would really like to see a Witchblade come out sometime here.
Who draws the short straw? Because that item is not very good.
So, like, honestly, it could have been Jifffy or Real. I would have liked to seen it on Reals, but he actually hasn't gone very high power in his build. He's gone kind of the utility, right? He wanted protections early and penetration, so he went into the Dynasty Blade Helm. After that, the Wing Blade, which has now become a staple, onto Chronos. But if he goes a Witchblade as well, then it's like, where's his power base coming off of, right? He obviously, he has the Obsidian Shard. He's working on a Tahuti, but, I mean, he'll be stuck at about 300 or less with that build if he goes Witchblade.
If I'm Reals, I purchased Winged Blade, so I didn't have to buy Witchblade. Hey, Jifffy, look, I need to buy more power. I'm sorry. I already need one. Remember when I died? You got to buy it. Okay, that's really what it is. You're drawing the short straw when you have to build
It's Reals. Like I said, he has the most kills on the team. He has the least deaths on his team. And he's in the top 20 in KDA between all players between both regions. Like, on a team coming from a team that's like 3-11, the worst team in the league next to Randozzo's, like, that's really good.
This has been the story all game for this
Murrdurr.
poor Crocodile. 1-4-1. And Sobek has not. It's not the Sobek. It's Murrdurr, and he's been picked off. Is that, I mean.
It's really hard, right? It's really hard right now, right? We're 24 minutes in. Murrdurr, I don't know if he has. They don't have the timing on the Gold Fury, so he actually might have thought that it was coming up, and he kind of wanted to walk in, but he has no tier 1 towers, and the tier 2 and mid is down, which gives FNATIC kind of the biggest opportunity to kind of just split the map and bait him into this.
Talk about split the map.
This is crazy.
Maniac has 4 people diving him, and he's gonna die.
No.
Most likely.
I mean, he's got so much physical protection, and now Jiffy's here as well. Gamehunter's going to come crashing down, but he just doesn't have enough damage.
Is a Vamana worth a Phoenix?
I mean, they didn't even get the Vamana, right? Maybe they find Jifffy, right? And I think Torpedo, they were trying to kill Vamana and then go for the Fire Giant, but that opportunity's gone.
That was, I mean, that was just objectively not a strong call. Investing that much into Vamana is always questionable, but when the enemy is looking at your Phoenix, you got to be aware. You got to understand the map pressure that's around, and with all the towers gone, it's just not a reality. Real's in some trouble. Uses Rewind at the perfect time, gets all of his HP back, and now NinjaBobat with some great positioning quickly turns around into poor positioning as his target's on the other side of the map.
And Jifffy actually finds the stun, purifies. Gamehunter purifies the stun, but he'll walk to his tower, and I mean the Phoenix, it's down. And those fire minions starting to rain in. Torpedo, they have to defend this, which means it's going to be another uncontested gold tier for FNATIC. They're starting to run away with this one.
Yeah,
this was like doable until the last two towers that went down, including the last Phoenix and tower that went down.
That's just rough stuff for Torpedo. And if you're a FNATIC or a FNATIC fan, this is sort of the game that you want, because Torpedo has made some questionable decisions that have led to FNATIC's lead. It hasn't been all FNATIC just stomping this game.
And this is no surprise to me, because Torpedo, they really haven't had a lot of success in the league as well. I mean, they haven't had a single clean 2-0, and the teams they've split with have been Hungry for More, Leftovers, and FNATIC. Those are their those are their wins. And it's like, those are the teams in the bottom of the league with them that have not been able to get anything rolling. I think Leftovers has 4 wins, Hungry for More and FNATIC have 3, and I think Torpedo had 3 as well. So it just, I mean, it hasn't worked.
And, you know, part of that, Torpedo, their last performance, Korinyo went absolutely insane on the ISIS. FNATIC took a note, made sure to ban that in the second phase. And Korinyo on the Soul just hasn't had the same positive impact that he's been able to before. And, you know, 1-1-3, he's not getting farmed here, but he's not doing... can we take a look at player damage real quick? I want to see where Soul's at. So he's up there on the player damage, but we're not seeing it converted into kills. 1 kill, 3 assists.
Hey man, I'm not even worried about Korinyo. Look at the top. Jifffy. 10,800 damage. This has been the guy who has been struggling for FNATIC. And you know what? A lot of it comes down to, obviously, there's positioning and everything else, but he was just missing his abilities so often on every single gods. Thor ults were way off the mark. Naja ults hit, or actually not hit. They were just completely just off the mark, and he dies afterwards because he's out of position. But this game, he has hit almost everything, and this is what you need right here. He catches Gamehunter.
The blink in and the ult right on top of the Apollo. Zyrhoes follows it up, and the 4chan warrior himself makes it happen. Mid lane going to be aggressed on by FNATIC here. Zyrhoes just putting out the monsters anywhere he feels fit. Support's going to go ahead and zone out, and this is the 3rd Phoenix that's going to fall down. FNATIC with 14 kills in total. They're leading by over 10 grand, and they're looking to take out the last of the remaining structures, but Bobat lands down. He's going to pay, but he won't die.
This is going to be the last Phoenix, and honestly, FNATIC, I think they're going to play it safe, though. You know, they're only 28 minutes in. They have Fire Giant in hand. Actually, they're all full health. They could realistically look to push in, but they don't want to throw. They know that they are not in a good position in the European standings right now. Make sure you find this win. They're going to strip away the jungle. They're probably going to back and finish off their items, and they're going to come surging looking for game 1 win.
Real's going to steal that red buff away from his mid laner, Zyrhoes. Just saying, mate, all your damage is overkill anyway. Jiffy's doing 90%. You're just putting the cherry on top. And look at that golden hand. So you're going to be able to see big items being purchased by both the mid lane. Or
what's he going to finish off? What's Real's going to finish off with? It's going to be Polynomicon. Could full buy it as well. Had just enough gold.
Jifffy, on the other hand, will opt for some more penetration. Titan's Vein will be picked up. No Witchblade, but I think at this point they're totally fine. The runic
What's
shield.
He going for?
The runic shield and the Midgardian mail out of maniaKK has proven to be enough, I think.
Like, this build for maniaKK is pure, like, this is what you don't see in Smite a lot of the times, is players just sacrificing their damage or their safety to build these auras that just completely shut down the enemy team. He has an attack speed and movement speed reduction on him directly with the runic, an attack speed reduction with the runic shield directly. And if you auto attack the big baby, guess what? You're going to be slowed once again by Midgardian. He also has Urchin just to help him get health, and he has Neomenian as well to return a lot of that auto attack damage. This build is beautiful.
And I kind of feel like it's the solo laner's job to really do that. Occasionally you can find a kill like maniaKK just did on the NinjaBobat. When no Phoenix is up, Torpedo have no choice but to retreat all the way to the Titan. Only if they can make it, though. One already fallen as far as the players are concerned. Zyrhoes not using the ult on the Titan, using it on the player. He might pay for that. Purification going to be
not like this.
to secure
Not
the
like
safety.
this, Zyrhoes! I mean, obviously
Yeah.
the game still is in favor of FNATIC. Gamehunter takes to the sky. He's looking for the Scylla in the back line,
slow.
but Murrdurr in the front line. One last auto. Who's it going to be, Jifffy or Realzx? It is Realzx who finishes him off. Jifffy manages to escape. BigManTingz surging forward. Going to find the stun on Korinyo. He's going to fall as well. Only 2 players left alive, and it's the Hunters for Torpedo to defend this.
But Gamehunter's on the backside just picking everybody off, but there's Realzx, big damage. And Gamehunter able to not die just yet as the Titan falls. FNATIC find a win above Torpedo in a very quick game. It felt very quick. We were up there in the 20s, but FNATIC just as the mid game turned into late game, just like that.
And that was kind of, I wouldn't say it was a slow bleed. It was actually a pretty quick bleed because the game was even at about, I think, 47,000 each, right? Once FNATIC were able to kind of remedy that gold fury that was picked up by Torpedo. And they just kept finding picks, getting a tower, finding a pick, getting a tower, finding a pick, getting a tower. And then the big misplay from Torpedo chasing Vamana while they were having their Phoenix pushed in.
That misplay might have been off of the confidence that they were given from First Blood, though. They got this kill. It was very clean, very nice, and it was just good teamwork. Over here, NinjaBobat starting the party with Korinyo.
I mean, this was FNATIC, right? They steal away the back carpets because they had all the pressure. Bobat zones off Jiffy's pathing, more importantly than the stun there, and then Gamehunter just comes down, and then it's just a Thor with Red Pod.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do?
And don't forget, I mean, that's off of an invade from FNATIC. So FNATIC start to get a little bit excited, and Torpedo are like, whoa, pump the brakes. And then later on, they're not able to pump the brakes with the big man in the driver's seat. BigManTingz support play really set up a lot for his squad here.
You know, he's been quietly a very solid player for FNATIC.
He's been so good.
The questions coming in were Jifffy and BigManTingz, right? The 2 rookies haven't had a lot of experience. I mean, BigManTingz actually tried to qualify back in Season 2, was unable to with his squad, but I mean, just the positioning and just being this front line for FNATIC, and we'll see him back off and peel as well, so kind of understands both aspects of being a support.
Yeah, you mentioned BigManTingz and also Jifffy, one of the newer players. 2 of these guys new on the roster, and Jifffy made a huge game here. We've seen it before, now we see it again. It's starting to happen a little bit more often, and like I said, if you're a team like FNATIC, and you're going to move away from a roster that you've stuck around with for years, there's a reason. You got to trust these guys on their roster moves, and I think we're finally seeing the Jifffy that Realzx and everybody else saw before.
It was just so clean. Finding the ultimates, I think he was keeping better track of purification this game than he had been before, because there was a lot of games earlier in this split where he would find the blinks or find the stuns and then ult right after, but then the guy's like, I got purification up, and Jiffy's like, oh, and then he's out of position and dies at the start of an engagement, doesn't even get any of his damage off. Much cleaner, though, in this game. We've seen him, though, this is him when he doesn't get too far behind. It's a little bit different, you know, kind of trying to fight back from a 5K deficit. Still, really solid performance coming out from him.
Yeah, very, very well done. And, of course, the tag team of jungle and mid, always the focal point when you've got this wombo combo type deal going on. The NinjaBobat combined nicely with Zyrhoes' Scylla every single time almost when he went up. Scylla was down waiting on the bottom, and we'll just see Zyrhoes monster after monster. Look at this.
That was a really nice follow. And then the setup. This is just going to be the clean execution of a team comp designed around picking players off. There's the first one. There's the second one. Here's the third one that's actually sanctuaried out, but he actually kind of read where Bobat was going, finishes him off with the root and the crush. And then the only real misplay we saw from Zyrhoes was when he was like trying to get kills in the fountain late game and died because of it. But hey, man, what are you going to do?
I mean, what are you going to do? That you're not going to do that. That's not how you
I think he doesn't do that game too if it gets in the same situation.
No, you know what? You know me. I love that sort of stuff. I'm the #1 fan of BM, and I use air quotes because nobody knows what that word means. There's a difference between that and hubris, though. And when you're number 8, you got to just go for the win. I don't know if I like that one, Zyrhoes. Let's take a look.